Operation Breakthrough opens at 6 every weekday morning, just as it has since August 2, 1971. By closing time, the staff has changed more than 500 diapers and served 1,100 meals to children whose parents had to rush off to work or school before breakfast. In between, preschoolers make music and art, grow vegetables in their outdoor classroom, and visit the library in this nationally accredited child care program at 31st and Troost. They go downstairs to the dentist, or down the hall to speech or occupational therapy. At the in-house Children's Mercy Clinic, they can get anything from a Band-Aid to a breathing treatment. Older children race back from school to snacks and homework help, book clubs and art class. Some get their eyes tested in the center's vision clinic, or study for college entrance exams. Some go home at night with sacks of groceries from the food pantry. In 12 hours, Operation Breakthrough cares for more than 500 children. Homeless children, foster children, children who need a safe place to learn while their parents try to earn enough money to pay rent and keep the heat on. Operation Breakthrough has been that place for 3 generations of Kansas City children. Its co-founders say it started quite by accident. In fact, there would be no Operation Breakthrough if a young nun from Des Moines, Iowa had made a different decision in 1967 when her order presented her next assignment.
I had a choice between Kansas City or Bogota.
And since Sister Corita Bussanmas spoke about 50 words of Spanish, the choice was easy. She became the no-nonsense principal of St. Vincent's School at 31st and Flora. With 150 children in grades K through 8, most of them minority children from the neighborhood, there was plenty to do. Sister Corita soon called an old friend for backup, Sister Berta Saylor.
I taught science. We had bullfrogs, we had a snake, and he ate live rats. Yeah.
There was a rabbit on the playground and alligators in a bathtub in the hall. They used ether from St. Joseph Hospital to catch fruit flies for science fair projects and hatched eggs in an incubator.
We had chickens that would roam freely through the hall. We would have guests come in and the chickens would greet them at the door.
Kim and lots of other kids arrived at the school before sunup and stayed until dusk while their parents worked. Soon, parents said they really needed someone to look after their babies and toddlers, too.
I thought, well, we could open our living room for this. What's the big deal?
The 2 sisters lived alone in the convent, half a block from the school.
Was it like Wednesday? And we said, well, let's open Monday, and in our typical long-range planning style.
They spent the weekend garage sailing for high chairs and toys. The nuns were still in their pajamas Monday morning when mothers began knocking at their door, handing over preschoolers and a plump 6-week-old named Hubert. The nuns hardly knew what to do with them. They laugh about the day they tried seating toddlers at a picnic table.
Corita and I hadn't been around little tiny kids, and we thought, oh, this would be so much fun for the toddlers to sit at a picnic table. And we put them all on the benches, and they all fell straight through.
Oh, my goodness!
They hired a lady from the neighborhood to take care of the little ones while the nuns were gone teaching. Soon, they had another challenge on their hands.
The diocese had figured out we didn't have a lot of Catholic kids in the school.
St. Vincent's was to close and consolidate with neighboring parishes, but the nuns and parents refused. They told church officials they would run the school and daycare on their own.
And they said, how much money do you have? We said, we have enough. And we didn't have any. $50 in the bank.
On August 2nd, 1971, they incorporated as a not-for-profit, and with their new board of directors, debated a name for the organization until 2 a.m., finally settling for Operation Breakthrough.
It was during the Vietnam War, and we thought if it was a war-sounding name, they might fund us because they thought it was a war effort. So that's what we did. But the thought was we were going to break through poverty.
The nuns filled out their teaching staff with what they call flower children, who were willing to work for $20 a month and a bunk in the convent. One in particular, Rich Koch, coached the basketball and track teams. The children ran barefoot and routinely took the city title. Athlete Terry Patterson, now a hospital administrator in Omaha, calls his old school cutting edge.
We just did things I thought that were out of the box. There was an expectation that we would get a well-rounded education, but if we wanted to spend 2 or 3 hours in the math class, because that's what we like to do, then it was okay.
After the last baby left the convent at night, the nuns cooked the next day's hot lunch and hauled it to school every morning. To raise funds for Operation Breakthrough, the nuns took the children to sell chocolate bars door to door. The incentive was a trip to the Ozarks to fish and sleep in a cabin.
Which was a big deal for kids from the urban core, a lot of African American kids who had never been out in what we thought was the wilderness.
The nuns dreamed up another fundraising scheme when the Standard Station came up for sale at 31st and Paseo.
Corita and I talked about it and said, well, we can make a lot of money pumping gas.
Somehow they convinced Country Club Bank to loan them $4,000 to buy the gas station. The nuns worked there, even the children. The flower children pulled the night shift.
Most of them got locked up and put in the bathroom and were robbed at some point. I remember saying to the bank people, who would rob a gas station set up to help children? And it's like the answer to that is everybody.
With money so tight, everything became a do-it-yourself project for the nuns and their staff, including uprooting the playground equipment for the move to Operation Breakthrough's next home at 48th and Troost.
We all learned to run a jackhammer.
Oh. Whatever we had to do, we just all did it together. I guess that's why we all stayed together. We were just like family.
They worked 12 hours and got paid for 8, if they could cash their paychecks.
I was bringing home $173 every 2 weeks. At the time, I had 4 kids.
You go to pick up your check and they'll say, well, don't go to the bank.
Don't take your check
Don't
to
take
the
your
bank.
check to the bank right now. Wait a couple of days, And then maybe you would go to a store or something. They'd be like, we don't take those checks anymore. We didn't complain. We just waited until the money was there, and we just hung on in there.
It's amazing we stayed open.
Yeah, I know.
It really is.
It's called dedication.
That's what it was.
Believe
That's
it.
what it was.
The nuns and their staff had a lot to learn about business. One day, the IRS showed up, looking for overdue payroll taxes, $75,000.
Corita and I knew you took some money out of people's paychecks to give IRS, but no one told us you matched it. And they got real ticky and said they could chain the doors and close us down and all this. And we thought, where are we going to get that? We don't have $75,000. And we had 3 staff people that got second mortgages on their house. So we could get the IRS paid off, and we paid those people back every dime.
To its devoted staff, Operation Breakthrough was a mission, not just a job, and its reputation for helping people was growing. Soon, the daycare center was full, with a waiting list.
This lady came in, and she was all beat up. I mean, really beat up. 2 black eyes and a set of twins and a single child. She had pillowcases on her 2 children for diapers. We had to call Sister Corita to see if we could let her in. We were at the max. We couldn't take any more children. She said, take them. I will never, ever forget how sweet Sister Corita was to that mother. She took that mother in, and those children stayed with us throughout the whole time they graduated from us. She could have very easily said, I can't take you all, we're full. But she said, come on in.
The nuns have always been famous for not being able to say no. They're also known for not taking no for an answer. In 1981, they set their sights on the old J.C. Penney building at the corner of 31st and Troost. They had no money, and some city council members tried to discourage them, saying the area was unsafe. But the nuns forged on. After all, the children already lived in the neighborhood. Rich Koch's parents in New York paid the $30,000 down payment.
We finally got the key and we went in. It was raining outside and there was just water pouring
in.
down from the the roof. It had
Yeah.
quite a few leaks.
They caught the raindrops with pickle buckets and divided the vast open space into classrooms with planks and concrete blocks. Still, parents handed their precious babies over the half walls every morning so they could get to work. Donna Randall's son Aaron was 6 months old the first time she left him at Operation Breakthrough.
This wasn't only a safe environment, it was a caring, learning environment.
Today, Aaron is on the dean's list at Howard University, graduating in May.
Operation Breakthrough played a great role in the success of my son and of a lot of children. They pursued education. It just wasn't a daycare.
Performing arts, sports, and community service activities kept Aaron coming daily to Operation Breakthrough in high school.
The experience that children get from there, it carries them through life.
When Operation Breakthrough began, the nuns say, there were no homeless children. A decade or so later, they needed a bus to pick up all the children in shelters or foster homes. They gradually phased out the grade school and added a food pantry, a clothing closet, a pediatric clinic, and social workers and therapists to help meet the staggering needs.
We were taken away from my mother when we were very young.
Carah McGowan and her brother were placed in foster care until their father claimed them.
Living with my father was very painful. He was abusive, controlling. He used to beat us with extension cords and stand us in corners for hours at a time. If we cried, he would start the beatings over again. Just anything to make us hurt. It started from the time I was about 7 until I was 11. I would wear sweaters and long pants in the middle of the summer to cover up the bruises on my legs and arms.
When Carah decided to report the abuse, she went straight to Operation Breakthrough. The same day, her father was arrested, and the center's therapists began intensive work with Carah and her brother.
The abuse was getting worse throughout the years, and I'm pretty sure if I wouldn't have told, I would have killed myself, because there was no escaping it.
Carah will start college in the fall. Her career goal is to become a play therapist at Operation Breakthrough.
Operation Breakthrough has been in my life, my entire life. And I just feel like I owe so much to this program.
The center has been a home away from home for thousands of Kansas City children. And for some, it's been the only stable address they've ever had.
We were homeless, actually, I was about 10 years old. My mom got evicted and we were living from home to home. We stayed in our car for like 2 to 3 months. Living in a car with 5 other siblings, it was painful. Sleeping next to someone with their head on their shoulder. Every morning waking up, using body wipes to take a bath. You didn't have no running water.
In those days, Operation Breakthrough was what Chris calls his safe haven.
I used to wake up every morning, couldn't wait to get there. You can go outside and play basketball, or you go downstairs to get on a computer. It was a place to go to where you just feel loved, and they taught me responsibility. They motivated you every day. Well, the most successful person in my neighborhood was a drug dealer. I wanted more, so by attending Operation Breakthrough, they had a lot of strong-hearted women there, such as Sister Berta, Sister Corita, Miss May Richardson, who was always on my heels. They wasn't telling me what I wanted to hear, they told me what I needed to hear. They molded me to the person I am today.
Chris was the first in his family to go to college. He's working his way through in customer service at a bank. He remembers a time when people said he would never make it, that he'd be nothing but a drug dealer or a deadbeat.
Going to Operation Breakthrough has opened up many doors. I have made it past my wildest dreams.
When Sister Corita walks the halls of Operation Breakthrough today, where hundreds of children play and learn in classrooms with real walls and windows, she feels the same way. An expansion project in 2006 modernized the old penny store and doubled Operation Breakthrough's facility.
I can't believe that we have grown the way we have grown. I think it's the whole spirit of family And as large as we are, I really do think that spirit is still there because we're there for the children.
Alvin Brooks has watched the sisters and their staff in action since the late 1960s.
If you go through the records over these 40 years, you can see that the majority of the young folks and families that came through Operation Breakthrough and had the supportive services that it provided have done well, and they would not have done well had they not had Operation Breakthrough and the love and affection of these two sisters.
I am so proud to be their friend, and what they have done in terms of nurturing and loving and providing a touchstone to many families that don't know where else to turn. Bottom line, if you're a child in need in Kansas City, there's one reliable place you can turn, and that is Operation Breakthrough and Sister Berta and Sister Corita. Thank you for 40 years of caring so much.
The sisters still put in plenty of 12-hour days, but they are quick to say that Operation Breakthrough has always been a team effort. Attorney Steve Callahan arrived in 1993 to volunteer for a couple of weeks.
Here it is, it's 18 years later, and I'm the CEO. I kind of feel like I've been handed this enormously valuable thing, like a $20 million Fabergé egg, and I feel like the first job is to not drop it.
For 40 years, Operation Breakthrough has been as strong as the staff, volunteers, and donors who built it.
The center should have closed 50 times. I mean, in sanity, we should have just said, okay, we have no money, we can't do this. And people come along, like you guys all came along. People came along that made the difference.
And you're still making a difference, laying the foundation for the next 40 years, for Operation Breakthrough and for the children who count on it to welcome them in every day with a hot meal and a lively learning experience, just as Kim and Terry did in 1971.
We were taught that we could do and be anything. It didn't matter where we came from. We could do anything. Operation Breakthrough is the reason I am who I am today.
Sister Berta and Sister Corita did such a wonderful job, as I look back on it now, of helping us know that we weren't second-class citizens. Whatever we had, they made it enough. I'd hate to think how many nights they stayed up trying to figure out how they were going to make it work. But by the time morning rolled around, they had their happy face on and they made us feel like we were the most special kids in the world.